Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay? So thank you very much for inviting me to come and speak to you today. Yes, my name is Partridge and I'm the Head of Planning and Operations for Yahoo Expansion Markets. You're probably wondering what is Yahoo's expansion markets? Well, it's almost a third of the world. So I cover pretty much the whole of Africa, excluding the Arabic North, and pretty much the whole of Europe, excluding UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain. Luckily, Cyprus and Greece is one of my markets, so I think I've definitely lucked out with these markets. So, what I wanted to talk to you today is about something we're very passionate about at Yahoo, and that's the digital canvas. And more importantly, how you can use that to engage your audience, so you can make a very powerful connection. Before I do that, though, I get asked the question all the time, what is Yahoo? We've been around for some 15 years now. We've seen a lot of people come and a lot of people go. A lot of people ask me, is Facebook bad for your business? And the answer to that is absolutely no. Facebook is actually helping us. It's helping us drive the conversation with marketeers that it's absolutely important to bring as much money as possible online. So, Yahoo, and the way we position Yahoo today is we're the premier digital company. 680 million people come to us because they want to connect. We help them connect using our original content that we have very strong editors producing, our communication tools, mail, messenger, and importantly, we bring people together using our products like Yahoo Answers and Flickr. What's also very important is we give advertisers the opportunity to come and connect with our 680 million people around the world. Now, we do this using three core things: science, art, scale. Okay? Science is about understanding and targeting people in a way that only online can do. Art is what I'm going to talk about later on. It's about giving you a canvas so that you can create immediate and lasting engagement with your audience. And scale. It's being able to target very specific people, and a lot of them around the world at any one time, which is very, very important. So, art. Art's been engaging us for centuries. My favourite artist, Matisse, once said, I always forget this quote, so apologies for that. Basically, colour is so important, and it creates this immediate connection. And we believe that's absolutely true. Now, I'm not going to attempt to explain this slide to you, but the point I'm making is that technology has been revolutionary. The last 15 years, it's brought us an absolutely long way, and it will continue to drive us forward in the future. But one thing that is very important: technology is not the be-all and end-all. Technology will allow us to get an ad to the right person at the right time. But technology will never engage the user. And that's why we believe art and the digital canvas is so important to marketeers. Now, let's not forget the basics of advertising. It's communicating. It's telling a story. It's trying to get someone to buy a product, buy a service, and create a lifestyle for many people. Comscore research has shown that creative is 4 times more effective than the media plan itself. And this is very, very, very important. And this is something that we are very passionate about, and we like to talk about it to as many people as possible. So, what I thought I would do is take you all on a little bit of a time travel and how display advertising has evolved over the last 10 to 15 years. Now, this looks like a pretty young audience, so maybe not all of you will remember these, but put your hand up if you ever remember this first type of ad. Not terribly engaging. Does anyone know what brand it is? No, that's the point. This is around the 1993 era. 1996, we started to see a little bit more rich media come into play. Again, not hugely appealing. This is probably the pop-up ad. Very, very annoying. And this still, for many, defines the digital and the display landscape today. Around about this time, a company that you may have heard of called Google started with their radical new concepts, and obviously the rest is history on this one. When broadband started to take off, we saw the emergence of the 300 by 250, which for today is still understood by the market to be the main ad unit. We would argue that around about this time, it wasn't a huge leap forward in the creative and the digital landscape. This is down to, we think, a number of reasons. The first one is the emergence of the ad network, the launch of Facebook, and an economic downturn doesn't do a hell of a lot to really make us that next step forward. That's why we believe the back end of last year and now into this year and into the future, we see the digital canvas again taking a big leap forward. And it's also great because we can move away from the horizontal units that, let's be honest, is not particularly engaging, and you can understand why marketers don't think it's very engaging. So we've been working very hard on our two main digital canvases. First one being the front page, and the other one being the mail login area. Okay? Now, before I go into some examples and some case studies, probably the question is, how do we know that this actually engages people? Well, we test and we survey people. The mail login is a new ad format that came out at the end of last year out of the US. Before we launch anything at Yahoo, and this can be very frustrating as a sales guy because I want to sort of get as many ads, new ad formats out as possible. Yahoo will not launch an ad unit until we know that we've covered two very important topics: impact, how impactful is this, and intrusion, how low and how less intrusive it is. Because at the end of the day, the last thing we want is to disturb the user experience and the journey. Nobody wants that. Which can be frustrating because in a lot of the markets that I look after, there are all sorts of wacky ad formats that a lot of agencies and advertisers want to buy. And we won't do them because we know what works and what doesn't. We serve 15 billion ads a day across the world, so we know what works. For the login, we survey 3,000 people just across our 5 core European markets. How we do this is that we ask our registered users if they'd like to take part in the survey. They either accept it or not. And then we watch how they interact with the ad. Now, we don't show them creative, we show them the unit. Okay? Now, you're probably wondering why there's blue dots there. I don't quite understand it, but evidently research shows that that's the most neutral picture or whatnot. And we can understand how people interact with the ad. And importantly, we ask questions. Was this impactful? Which is very important, obviously, but very important as well. Did this disturb your user experience? Was this intrusive? Okay, very, very important. So once we do those surveys and get a response, we look at it. We look at it, male versus female, age and gender, different countries, to understand the point. And once we've done that, we can see the results, we either make a decision that it's acceptable or it's not. And there are many formats that we've launched many formats we wanted to launch rather, that we decided we didn't because it was going to disturb the user experience. This particular one, the mail login, was approved because at its core is providing the advertisers a huge impact. The biggest digital canvas online, yet the user can still go straight into their mail without disturbing their experience. So, let's have a look at a few exceptions, or a few executions. So, I'm not sure if you've noticed by my accent, but I'm Australian. I didn't deliberately choose an Australian tourism ad to show you. This is a campaign that we ran in the UK in the dead of winter last year. Now, I have to explain that this doesn't all just pop up. This is user generated. And you can see, I can show you again, it starts off like this. The person clicks on it, and unfortunately it's not live, but what actually happens is the fish is swimming across, the snorkeler is coming back, and let's be honest, I sat and watched it for about 5 minutes. Now, you're Australian. I know, it's funny. This is working, Chris. You guys don't really have as good water as we do. But
we don't watch for so
But again, hugely impactful. 3 million people saw this in one day. And it had a massively powerful impact. And Australian tourism absolutely loved it and went nuts for it. Now, the biggest digital canvas on the internet. This is something that launched just recently. It's been a complete revolution. in the sense of this is not an IAB ad format. Okay, so people need to buy into this concept and create it from scratch. But what we've seen is massive impact for brands across finance, autos being very successful. To give you an example, Chevrolet in the US booked basically a front page event every week for a month. What we saw was that people searching for Chevrolet increased 5 times when there was an ad and there wasn't the next day. Now, if you look at this page, there's no search box here. So people didn't look at Chevrolet, this is not Chevrolet by the way, people didn't look at Chevrolet and then immediately search. People remembered the brand. They went away and then they went back into search and they searched for the brand. So there was a huge engagement from this and brand recall, which at the end of the day is what we all want. Okay? Here's monopoly execution. The entertainment industry absolutely loves this as well, because we can actually insert a video onto this as well. People can watch the trailers. So a lot of the studios are pre-booking this for movie launches 12 months in advance. So again, this has been very, very exciting for the entertainment industry. Obviously, video is becoming very important, and we've been working very hard at vidifying our website. And this is not just ads, this is also original content as well. And we need to give advertisers the opportunity to either do highly impactful video ads or pre-roll, post-roll based on original content. Video is going to be very, very, very important moving forward. Everyone's trying to position themselves how it's going to work. But video, particularly short video, is very important. That's why Google bought YouTube. So it's very important. So another thing that we do very well is the integrated partnerships. Okay? This is an execution we did with Mazda in the UK. Mazda was launching a new car designed at young families and young mothers. Now we could have done an ad, been very impactful, but what we said is, why don't we create a location on Yahoo where young mothers can go back many, many times? And how do you do that? You're not going to get them coming back all the time to look at an ad, but you get it by creating engaging, original content that's designed to make their lives easier. Now, I'm not a parent, or I don't have a child, so this doesn't hugely appeal to me, but this is hugely impactful for young mothers who want to find out things about parenting, what to do, what not to do, and you can see that we've created a real community. One of the things we also embrace at Yahoo is Facebook. We want people to share the content, and Facebook is a fantastic tool to drive and spread the original content that we do so well to many, many users. Another example that we did was with Walkers, where we brought together a whole range of different assets to make this campaign very successful. You see that we created a microsite on the Yahoo network. We combined it with offline activities and TV. We use strong editorial content and original content. We wanted people talking about it on Yahoo Answers, creating the buzz in the community and the hype. And we use search to drive a lot of the traffic and a lot of the discussion. This is what you call an integrated campaign. And this is one of the really important things I'd like to stress today. It's not a conversation that you need to have. It needs to be search or display or social. It's and. You want to do search, you want to do social, you want to do display to create an integrated campaign, which is very, very important. It's not and, sorry, it's not or, it's and. Now, there isn't a day that goes by that I'm not asked about Nova, what's happening. I think if I knew that, I could be very rich very soon. I don't think anyone really knows. There's a big battle going on at the moment, but the way that Yahoo approaches it is we want to be accessible on every device. We don't need to pick Android, we don't need to pick Apple, we want to be everywhere. For an advertiser, and what Yahoo needs to do is still be able to create this digital canvas to give advertisers the opportunity to create immediate and lasting engagement. So again, some executions here. Again, very popular for movies. So, before I show you a video, I wanted to do a bit of a tongue-in-cheek checklist that I would ask you to ask yourself every time you're doing a campaign. Would you be engaged with your campaign if you were the consumer? Fair question. Okay. The Tourism Australia one, I'm quite proud to show that to you because I think it's highly impactful, highly engaging. Have you pushed the boundary? Have you tried something new? Okay. At the end of the day, we're at work a hell of a lot. It makes sense to try different things. I enjoy it. I get to go to different countries. But what I'd ask you to do is try different things. Don't do the same campaign every time. Will your campaign be remembered? Important. Will the client love you? Even more important. Will your boss promote you? Probably even more important. And also, would you be proud to show it off to your friends and family? Good question. So what I've done is put together a video which highlights some of the cool creative stuff we've done recently around the world. Some of the coolest stuff that Yahoo does comes out of countries like Brazil, unbelievably creative, South Korea, the Asia region, incredibly, really cool stuff like that. I think we steal a lot of better ideas, but have a look and let me know what you think. So remember, you have the key, we have the canvas. Let's try something different and very creative. If I can leave you with one thing today, embrace technology. Technology is incredibly important. It allows us to get the right ad in front of the right person at the right time, but it doesn't engage them. That's where creativity and art come into play. Thank you very much.